Welcome back. I promise this video is definitely not an April Fool's joke, even though today is April 1st. But the way that the game ended reminded me that it was April 1st, so I'm just going to take you through it fairly quickly, and then hopefully you're as surprised by the ending as I was. This is in the 2022 Chess.com Daily Chess Championship, round 2, in which all my opponents were rated higher than me, and including this one, who is rated 1551, whereas my daily rating is in the mid-1300s, so about 200 points higher than me. Our ratings both fluctuated somewhat, a little bit during as this game went on, because as you win one game, lose one game, and some of these games last for weeks. But about a 200-point difference. I played the London system, except for this, and that I misremembered this. I thought that was one of the better moves in this position, but it turns out I should have just played e3 at this point. But other than that, tried to play what I thought of as the London system, except I had delayed knight to f3. Neither one of us made the best move on every move, sometimes the second best, third best, but I began to slowly gain an advantage. If you'll watch the engine suggestions here, my advantage creeps up and creeps up as each time my opponent makes a less than optimal move. For example, here when they traded queens, that was not good for them, which was the whole reason for me to put my queen there in the first place, because now I have an open file. I'm more developed than my opponent, who still has 4 unused pieces on the back rank, and I only have 3. I have more space in the center, so I correctly evaluated here that I did have an advantage. I did make the best move here, surprisingly enough, and as you can see, my advantage is around 2 points. However, I wasn't sure how to capitalize on that advantage, and I didn't often make the best move. Here it's suggesting, for example, h3, because it expects this knight to challenge my bishop, and it wants my bishop to have a place to hide. I wasn't seeing that. I guess I thought if it did that, I could always slide the bishop in here, something like that. Regardless, I maintained this advantage. As you can see, it's getting closer to 3 points now. That wasn't a good move, but they didn't take, so it didn't matter. And I finally did play h3. Now, again, this person's rated 200 points higher than me. At this point, I began to think we might lock this up and end in some sort of a draw. 5 points? What was the big mistake there? Yeah, see, it says I should play f4 or g4. I wouldn't have seen that. Or f3 even. I didn't play one of those. My idea was to reroute this knight over here to hit one of these places, and at the same time I was thinking of doubling these rooks on the a file. And that's what I did. Set about doing that. I've still got a 5-point advantage. 3 point, 4 points. Okay. Now here, that turned out to not be a great move, but I just thought it would be pretty awesome to have, a bishop right there in front of this nice, awesome pawn chain, and nothing can come after it except the knight. And if something does take it, I've got a passed pawn right there in the middle. That seems pretty cool to me. But right here, not right here, it wants me to have brought this knight back, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I continued with my plan of going over here, which I did. Not great. My opponent guards this knight. As you can see, they had already moved the bishop, so they must have seen my plan coming. That's fine. I brought the other rook over as I had intended. Did not make the best move here. Didn't matter. Brought the knight out of the way because now I'm ready to shoot through with my rooks. But my opponent blunders, gives me an 8-point advantage because the rook doesn't guard this knight anymore. Now I can take it. I mean, it's just sitting there free. But I didn't take it. Went about my plan. and thought I was doing okay, but now look at the evaluation. We're drawn if we continue to make the right moves, which we kind of kept it at zeros for just a little bit. In several of these positions, there are multiple options to keep it at zeros, and then I messed up. I had 3-4 options of keeping it at zeros, but I messed up thinking I was freeing this pawn to advance. But instead what I missed was this bishop pointing here, which it doesn't look like it is because of the 3 pieces in the way, and my king being vulnerable here, because earlier I should have stepped out with my king to challenge this rook. But now what's going to happen? These pieces are all going to get out of the way of this bishop, and it's going to be guarding this square, and this pawn's going to be guarding this square, and it's going to be mate. And even though it says it's only -3 if I make the perfect moves, I'm not going to make the perfect move. So you see, one pawn's already gotten out of the way of the bishop. The king gets out of the way of the bishop. Now there's only one pawn left in the way. If only I will make the perfect moves here, but I didn't again, and now it's made in 2. So there, I have to go up. The next move's going to be mate. But my opponent didn't return to make their move. So this morning, I woke up expecting to see a notification from this game that it was over, because when I left it, I knew it was mate in 1. But my opponent didn't return to make that move, and I won. So that's why I said it. I thought, is this guy playing is this some sort of April Fool's joke? Am I going to restart my app and find out that, no, he actually did make that move and I lost the game. But it's listed as a win. My rating increased. And so I got another win in this crazy tournament. Same tournament that I had a draw against an international master. But that's why I don't resign in daily games, because sometimes people miss a day and you win. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.